Hey, Bri.
Hey, how are you doing?
I see you scratching your beard. You're getting a little scruffy there.
A little scruffy.
You growing in the beard again or not?
Take it off again. I don't know. No, probably not.
We got a wedding next week. I'm wondering if you're going to trim it up or what.
I would definitely trim it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
We got a family wedding next week. Anyway, you were out in Arizona this week.
I was.
Was it hot?
It was, but it wasn't that bad. But I didn't spend a lot of time outside. And on Sunday, I was there for only 4 nights. Last day was beautiful, 70s.
70s. That's nice.
Gorgeous.
That's nice.
But yeah, I didn't get to see much. I didn't get to see, to sightsee. But it was good.
I was out of town too, but
Yeah.
I was working, but I wasn't sightseeing. But I started off in Kansas City, and it was nice. I wound up in Nebraska, but ended up in Vegas, but I wound up going through Wyoming, just driving through, and I'm like, okay, I just got to get to Salt Lake City, Utah, and make a left turn and head down to Vegas. Forget about it. It was a blizzard. Blizzard. It was a whiteout for like 2 hours. Out of nowhere, just driving over the mountain as a whiteout. I couldn't live there. It's a gorgeous country. I could not live there. Wyoming, heading over to Utah, mountains are gorgeous, everything else, and then all of a sudden, 40 plus miles an hour, and on the thing it says everywhere on Route 80, going from, I guess, wherever it starts, but in Nebraska, going all the way through Wyoming, all the way to Utah, there's little signs, and if it says flashing, the highway is closed. The interstate will be closed. Instead, they had digital readouts that said 40 plus mile an hour winds. You can't drive your campers. It says campers are not allowed on the highway. Now think about that. If you're stuck because of high winds for a few days, you're not allowed to drive. What if you rented that camper for the weekend? You can't get home. Now you're paying for this camper.
Yeah.
They said no campers are allowed. And sometimes they have actual gates that go down and close the interstate. That's on the interstate.
All in particular in what state did you say?
Cutting through Wyoming. I went from Hastings, Nebraska.
Wyoming was it though?
All the way through Wyoming, and after Cheyenne.
Yeah, Cheyenne.
Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Yeah.
CHEYEN. Yeah, a bunch of NNs and E's and whatever with a Y in there. All the way to Salt Lake City. It's gorgeous. I mean, I understand for safety, you can't drive on these roads. But if you have a truck, you have to have chains. You have to put chains on, and they'll just close the roads. So it's amazing how this country functions. It's amazing how it's just traveling more and more. It's amazing.
Yeah, how they all adapt, or they stay. Some of these places. I mean, some places get just abandoned, but you go, there's still a thriving town here. In these places where you think people would not want to normally live.
I know. I don't understand. I see open fields everywhere. I don't see any houses. Then you see a little settlement in like a valley, but you could drive. It's some of the most gorgeous driving. I tried to take videos. I'm driving. I tried to stick the dash, but there's so many bugs and everything else and dirt on the windshield. I tried to stick the phone in the dash so I could record myself going through. I forget the name of it, but it was a between just before you got to Salt Lake City coming out through. It was
you should get a camera
gorgeous.
That you can
I got to do one on the outside, but the
yeah.
bugs would probably just cover it. I don't know how do you do that.
I don't know, but you'd think you'd be able to get one and you'd have a screen that you could watch. So if it did, you can be able to clear it.
I think I'm going to try and do it. I think I got to figure it out. Just to even while we're running, just while we're talking here, just to post the travel because I'm traveling every week now somewhere.
Yeah, we haven't been doing this a lot, and you should be able to. You need to be able to do this. Eventually, this needs to be on your own channel. Move all the videos over there, and then this way you can upload whenever you want when you're on the road.
That's true.
When you're by yourself.
I know. We'll wind up doing that. We'll wind up figuring out how to do that this summer.
Yeah.
But I made it to Vegas safely. And when I got there, before I left here, I actually knew I was going to try and do, I don't know, kind of a social experiment based on our last or the second to last podcast about do you know if you smell?
Okay.
Or do you know you're smelly?
Right.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of extreme asshole sometimes.
Right, yeah.
So you could just ask our brother-in-law Rob about last week's comments about living in a cave. He didn't like that too much. But that really wasn't it. It was the fact that I wanted to know, because I was sitting next to that person who was eating the eggs and the smelly food, and she was a woman, nobody said anything to her. And I said, well, what happens if it was a guy? Does anybody say anything?
I don't know.
So I didn't make eggs because I was traveling, but I did make a couple of things that have a little bit of a scent that people would know, but they didn't stink as bad as what it was. I just wanted to see.
All right.
So I got my same stupid, I'm a bitch, like I said, first class seat.
Right. What did you do?
I wound up wanting to eat strange things while people were boarding. So I cooked corn on the cob And I said, who the hell's taking corn on the cob on a plane? So I did. And I got a tuna fish sandwich from the Hudson, whatever the shop is where the food is, that whatever.
Yep.
And I got a pickle, a full-size pickle.
Yep.
And they all have a little bit of a scent.
A little bit.
But I figured, you know what? Let me see what happens if anybody's going to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
So we boarded Group 1.
Yeah.
And I just took my food out and I started eating it. And I started with the corn on the cob and the pickle. And I put them, I literally took the corn on the cob from my house. So it traveled with me all week. I got it through TSA. I didn't do this until I came back.
Because you just wanted to see if
I just wanted to see the reaction. If somebody would ever say anything to me to say, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
I would have said, you know what? You're right. Let me get rid of this. And I would have just put it in a bag and threw it away. But I just,
So you started off
I
with
started
the
off,
corn.
I had 4 half pieces, which was 2 full pieces of corn. And I'm eating that. And then I'm eating a whole pickle, garlic dill pickle.
It was in a garlic one, and specifically.
Yeah.
So
little bit of a scent. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know,
A
one of the
regular
ones that
pickle's
comes
gonna have a scent.
right. One of the one that comes in a little baggie.
Yeah.
And then I opened up the tuna fish sandwich.
Yeah.
And I waited, and oh yeah, people said something.
Okay, tell me.
So people walking in said, "What the hell is this guy eating?" As they're passing me, they're looking. What the hell is this guy eating?
And they're literally saying,
they didn't
that's
say,
a weird thing
they
to say.
said it passed. They
said,
said, what is he eating? What?
Meaning, yeah, tell me exactly what you were hearing. So you heard people say,
I heard
what is he
one
eating?
person say to me when they walked on first, "What the hell is he eating?" Then I heard the people. It was. I didn't turn right around, but it was like behind me
I would
row
never
or
say
two.
anything.
Behind me a row or two just said, "Oof, that smells." And then I wrapped it all up, and I asked after I got those 2, I waited till everybody boarded the plane to see how many there were. And after that, I wrapped it all up real quick, and I tied it all up. And the person sitting next to me literally because it was a red-eye flight, so it was pretty bad. I took it was like an 11:30 flight out.
Right.
Coming back, so it was late night.
It's going to be something that even more
Somebody's
going to
say something to somebody.
Something.
It would be great. But the guy next to me got on the flight, put his headphones on, asked for a drink, and passed out. So he didn't have anything. The actual flight attendant said to me, "Do you want me to take that?" And I said, "No, not yet." Kept eating. And then as soon as everybody boarded, I said, "Let's get rid of it," because
Wait a
she
second.
threw it away.
You said I'm still eating it, but you'd wrapped it up at that point.
Huh?
You had wrapped it up.
No.
when
She said it when I
came
first.
over to
She said it when I first was still. Well,
She
in first
asked you
class.
if, can I take that from you when you were actively
When
eating it?
I was sitting there and I was watching people's reactions. And I was eating corn, and I finished the pickle. When I got to the corn of the pickle, I was eating the sandwich, but I was still holding the plate.
Right. Did you apologize to the people behind you?
No.
Did you say sorry? No.
No, sorry. The Smelly did. No.
No, you just wanted to see.
I just wanted to see. I want to see if anybody said something to a guy, because nobody said anything to that lady.
Right.
I'm sorry. I am an ass. I just wanted to find out if somebody was going to say anything, do something. Somebody did say something. So next time, if it's a woman or a man, I'm not going to be sexist or anything else. I'm just going to say, hey, you know what? That stinks. I know how it feels.
How was the tuna?
The tuna actually was terrible. I took like 2 bites of it. I don't like. I'm
I
very
mean,
particular on tuna.
Airport tuna can be
I thought I was probably going to get
dicey.
sick, and I was like, shit, I'm going to have to go to the bathroom. I did this in Vegas, so I still had a 3.5 hour flight, but I knew I had a 3 hour layover before I wasn't going to eat it when I got on the plane early in the morning, because I had a 6-something flight coming out of Atlanta going to here.
Right.
So I ate it. I tried just to see what would happen.
Yeah.
I'll never do it again, ever.
And
I actually did have, I know this is going to sound crazy, I did have a car air freshener that I bought, not the ones that hang, but the one that you peel it open. It was like a little air fresh, like an Air Max air fresh that I got at the auto store.
Yeah.
So then as soon as I was done with everything, I opened it up and just stuck it like on top of my little travel bag. So I have it. So it was bringing a little better scent to the area.
Oh, was it
overpowering?
I
couldn't get, no, it wasn't very strong. No.
Okay,
I
good.
couldn't get an aerosol. I wasn't going to try and put
And
an
that's
aerosol
what's good
thing.
for you too. You're talking about a thing that you could wear, but honestly, all you got to do is have one of these little freshened things in your pocket.
Yeah, you just wear them and sniff it the whole freaking flight. I know. Get the
pretty
chemicals
much.
right
If
in
they're,
you. That's
if they're
okay.
subtle enough, you just stuck it next to your seat.
I know.
What those
I
the
know.
difference,
I know.
right?
Well, I could have covered and thrown it away the whole time.
Well, I know. I mean,
I
you
actually
could do the
left
same
it in
thing.
the seat pocket, so
you
at
could take
least
it out
it
of
was
your
good when I
pocket,
was done.
too, but Yeah.
But that's
well, anyway.
it. So I got one more flight because we're going on a flight. We're going to a wedding. So we got one more travel. So maybe I'll do another. No, I'm not going to do any more experiments. Screw that. I'm never doing that again.
No.
I'm going to bring nice smelling foods.
What happened in Vegas, though? You didn't win.
I lost. I almost got killed. And I'm exaggerating that, but I almost got hurt in Vegas because a big, long wall.
I don't think you are.
Because I showed you the picture. A big, long, like 40-foot. It was at least 40 feet.
Like a temporary
wall. It was 8 feet tall with plywood. It was sheetrock and plywood. It was a full sheet of plywood tall.
I don't know
with an A-frame wood, and it was a solid structure all the way across because it was framed. The whole thing fell down from the wind. And I didn't even see it when it happened because I was looking down at my phone and a lady bumped into me and bumped me out of the way. But the reason why she bumped into me is she basically pushed me to get out of the way of this falling wall that fell real quick because in Vegas it was really high winds outside. She saved me.
You out of the way.
Yeah, I didn't know. I probably got hit.
Guess what? What would Aunt Phyllis say that person was?
She's one of your angels.
Yeah.
I know. I got a lot of angels, thank God.
Yeah.
Cat has 9 lives. I think I'm up to 42. I don't know how many cats I actually am. I don't know what happened, but it's, I don't know. There's been a lot of close calls. There's been a lot of way too many close calls.
No, it sounds like it absolutely could have fucked you up, man.
I mean, it was. I was at the very edge, like literally, it was a foot away. It was a foot away from me, and the whole thing just fell, and it made a really loud noise, and everybody was like, "Holy crap!" But if it wasn't for that lady who bumped into me, and then she was with a group of people, and I just turned around, I'm like, "Oh my!" And I looked back, I'm like, "Wow, that's a wall." And then I took a short little video of it. Maybe if I could put it on, I might just show a video of it already down. But in all honesty, it was crazy. It was a temporary wall held up by buckets, and the wind hit it so hard, so fast, it just came down on the walking path. I think it's right by where, I think they're building a Lululemon, honestly, because on the video, I think I see a Lululemon thing.
Yeah, but crazy. Nobody got hurt. Nobody got hit.
Nobody. I mean, and one of the guys is like, I could have made some money. And I'm like, dude, you would have been really messed up. Like that's 8 sheets of plywood, wood framing with sheetrock behind it, and 8 feet tall. And the pendulum, the fulcrum point that came down on it could have broken your neck. But
absolutely.
I got lucky
so easily.
But I was happy. I walked through. I played a lot. I will say this. Sports books are unbelievable. They're unbelievable all over Vegas. It's the first time I really went in a sports book and looked and said like, oh, I could really get in trouble here, making a lot of future bets. Because I was like, oh my gosh, I could bet on everything from now until whenever I want to. Like who's going to win this next year and who's going to win this? The odds are so great. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to throw away like $400 or $500 on future bets and not even know what they are.
Right.
So, but we're still in. So I will say this. We picked some things last week.
Yeah.
And last week we're still in with the Cleveland bet.
What lost?
None of them.
Nothing's lost yet.
No, we're still in. We made some picks, and a couple of picks didn't go. The Rockets didn't make it past the Nuggets. Now I'm afraid of the Nuggets. The Nuggets are dangerous.
Didn't go.
But we didn't.
So that was one of them.
But that wasn't one of our bets. Our bets were the Maple Leafs to make it to the Stanley Cup, and they're still in it. Our bets are for the Cavaliers and the Oklahoma City Thunder to meet in the finals.
In the finals, right.
Those are our bets. And I had Golden State beating the Rockets, and they did in Game 7, and I don't know how because I said Jimmy Butler, and that was a whole big thing between me and Robert last week. So we're still in those. But if you want to place a bet this week there's a golf tournament, so you may want to pick it because there's a golf tournament this weekend, and Scheffler won last week, so I don't know if there's somebody you like and you want to pick it, but it's a PGA.
Not in particular, no, but no, with basketball, like I'm curious what you think is going to happen. What's the spread on the Knicks? I think the Knicks could keep it close. I could see them obviously losing this, but if this spread is significant, because it should be, right? Or is this spread heavily swung because they won the first game in the series?
Okay, the Knicks won the first game. The Knicks won because somehow Brunson did something that nobody expected in Boston.
Because this was all in Boston.
That was in Boston. So the next game is in Boston as well. Do I expect them to lose? Yes. Boston missed a whole bunch of threes, and that's really what they're saying. Oh, Boston's got a problem making threes. No, they don't. They had a bad game. It happens all the time. Do I expect Boston to win Game 2? Yes. By how much? I can honestly see a blowout. The key to this whole series is going to be Game 3 and Game 4. If the Knicks can get some magic and some strength in the fact that they finally won a game. They haven't beat anybody in the top echelon of the NBA. Anybody who's the top 2 or 3 this year in the East and the top 2 or 3 in the West, they haven't beaten. I think this crazy series to watch is going to be Minnesota against Golden State. And the Nuggets beat OKC in the first game, so we're going to see what happens. And that game is tonight because actually we're recording on Tuesday.
So what's the spread on the game?
Boston and the Knicks?
Yeah. Do you know?
No. Well, we just looked up the spread, and it's 10.5 points.
Right. And the over-under for total points, what do you think?
My guess,
Yeah.
210.
It is. It's 210.
Okay.
It's 210.5.
There you go. So that's because they beat each other up, and that's kind of a low-scoring game. If you were out west, it's probably 20 points more. So what I'm saying is that they're going to correct that. They're putting 10. The Knicks play tough. Do I think that there's going to be an overcorrection here? And do I think that Boston is really going to go off? Yeah. It depends on garbage time. And garbage time means if they're up by 15 or 20 in the last 3 minutes and pull their players so nobody gets hurt, what happens? Do the Knicks pull their players too? They're playing half-ass at the last 2 minutes of the game. I honestly think Boston's going to win this game.
Well,
big.
if I were to bet on any game, I'd bet on this game, and I'd go with the Knicks just because.
Okay.
And the spread, because, it could be a game where they're in it and they only lose obviously by less than that. So
do you feel
knows?
more comfortable with an over, or more comfortable with? Because I feel more comfortable with an over, but I would do a bet with you. I'll do a bet just because it's your hunch. It's your hunch. This is all you. It's your hunch.
Well, I mean, it's definitely something to root for. When is the game? When is that?
Tomorrow, Wednesday. Tonight's Golden State and Minnesota.
I don't know what I would be more into watching would probably be, or excited about, would be betting the game and not the over. But
all right. So
what about you?
So we'll drop a bet. We'll drop a bet on that.
Okay.
We'll drop a bet on that. Maybe we'll drop a bet on the over too. But we'll drop it. We're not going to parlay it. We'll do two separate bets. This way you still have a chance.
No. We'll do two. Why don't we just do two
bets?
separate
One
bets?
over and one.
I think
okay.
they're fine.
Okay, that's fine.
So I'll be happy with the over. But
okay.
We'll see. Because really, it could easily. Because I've seen some low-scoring games in some of these where I've been surprised with.
There's been some defense in some of these games, and there's been some nerves. You could tell it's the first round of the playoffs, and these big stars do not want to get knocked off in the first round of the playoffs because that's huge, because they're supposed to. The only real upset in this, actually there was two. There's only two upsets in this as far as where they were ranked, and that's Golden State beat the number 2 in Houston, and Minnesota beat the Lakers. That's it. The Lakers are gone. They're done.
That was a big shock.
That was a big shock. Minnesota's hot and cold, but they got a star. Anthony Edwards is a star. So we're going to see what happens. The Lakers got problems. They got problems. They were exposed. We'll see what happens. But in all honesty, I'm excited because all these look good. The only one that nobody really wants to see is Cleveland and Indiana. I want Cleveland to win. I want Cleveland to get to either Boston or the Knicks. Unfortunately, it's going to be Boston, but Boston or the Knicks. That's what I want. I hope it's the Knicks, because if the Knicks go to Cleveland, I'm still rooting for Cleveland over the Knicks. If the Knicks win, great. They get to the finals for the first time forever. And I'm like, okay, good for them.
Right.
If not, Cleveland wins, we win the bet. So, that's what we got. So, either way.
Cool.
So, I'm hoping the Knicks beat Boston, but in all honesty, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm sorry, Robert. And
I've been getting a lot of clips because I've been watching them, they're just on my feed of like basketball. So I could see myself getting more and more into, I could see myself in a couple of years actually going, okay, yeah, you know what? Oh, who are you going for? Like, I don't have any teams,
right,
or at least really getting into watching, because I know I have watched games, complete games or half games, playoff games that had teams. I was like, oh, I heard it's a good story. I'm watching it, and loved watching it.
Right. Well, people don't like the fact that it's such a long season and stars sit, and that's a major problem. Stars, they get rest. They do whatever. They're trying not to do it because you have to qualify for things.
They get taken out of complete games.
They just sit as a day of rest, like he's off tonight. And they're like, oh my God, I bought tickets for this game and I don't get to see the star because he's resting. So now they make little penalties of the fact that in order to qualify for MVP, you have to play at least X amount of games. I think it's 60 games.
Right.
So they can only rest for 20. In order to qualify for this, first team NBA or whatever, you have to play X amount of games. So those things come with perks and bonuses. So you qualify for the All-Star team, you have to play an X amount of games. Right. Yes, so it's good that the stars get to play and not just rest. Mm-hmm. But if you're older and you're already on a freaking $150 million contract, who gives a shit?
Right.
These guys don't care.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So Kawhi rested almost the whole season, I think. I mean, he rested whenever he wanted to. There's a lot of guys that rest. But you know what? I do love the NBA. I know it's rare because a lot of guys don't like the NBA. And where we are now in North Carolina, this is college. Everybody here has a college team, either from where they grew up or from Tobacco Road, which is what it is. Mm. But we're doing okay on our bets. We're going to see what happens. We're going to put in the 2 bets, and we may see if we can do a little recording at the wedding.
Oh, is that what you think?
I think I want to do a little recording of some crazy people that are in our family.
Oh my
And we'll see if we
God.
post it. We'll see who volunteers. I'm gonna bring a microphone and record them on my computer.
Holy shit. All right.
Just wait.
Crazy.
All right, that's it.